All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about one of the most painful, most common problems in product management. Seriously, it's this silent killer of roadmaps, and it's probably the biggest threat to building a product that can actually scale.
Let's just put it out there, no sugarcoating. You are letting your loudest, angriest customer design your product. We've all been there. And it's this exact issue that turns visionary product leaders into, well, glorified order takers.
Sound familiar? The sales team is this close to landing the whale, the biggest deal of the year. But of course, there's a catch. The client will only sign on the dotted line if you build one tiny, super specific feature just for them. The pressure is on, and just like that, your beautiful strategic roadmap, it gets tossed right out the window while your engineers go build a custom button.
And that right there, that's what we call the N=1 trap. It's that moment you stop managing a strategy and you start managing chaos.
So what is this trap, really? It's that feeling when your product roadmap isn't really yours anymore. It's being dictated by one-off demands from individual customers. And here's the crucial part. You slowly stop being a product company and start acting like a custom dev agency that's just pretending to be a product company. You're not solving problems for the market anymore. You're building for a sample size of one. Okay, so what's the big deal? Well, the real cost of all this custom work is this massive damage and conflict it creates inside the business, the battle between building for one client versus building for many.
And here's a brutal question I want you to ask yourself honestly. If that one huge client, the one you just bent over backwards for, if they churned tomorrow, would a single other person on the planet actually buy the feature you just spent 6 months of your engineers' lives building? If the answer is no, or even if you hesitate, your product strategy might already be on life support.
This really gets to the heart of the problem. There was this case study on a company called SBS, and it showed how their services heritage created this constant pull toward one-off solutions. It puts these two mindsets at war: the services mindset, which is all about chasing the next deal right now, and the product mindset, which is playing the long game for a scalable, strategic win.
And the fallout from this is, well, it's really bad. Falling into the N=1 trap is like lighting a pile of cash on fire. It just drains your resources, kills any chance you have to scale, and turns your beautiful product into this Frankenstein's monster of bolted-on custom features, all of which just delays you from actually reaching the broader market you're supposed to be serving.
This is the fundamental truth we have to remember. Our job as product people is to manage a portfolio of strategic investments. It is not our job to be a concierge, just blindly saying yes to every single request that lands on our desk.
Okay, so how do we get out of this mess? It's all about making a pivot, a big one. The whole organization has to start thinking N=many, and that begins by completely reframing what a win actually looks like. First things first, we have to stop celebrating the false victory of, hey, we built what the client asked for. High fives all around, right? Wrong. The true win, the new definition of success has to be, we built something the market will buy many, many times over. Now, the only way to make this pivot stick is to take all the emotion out of the conversation. You're never going to win a gut feel argument with a sales leader who's got a huge commission check on the line. It won't work. Instead, you have to bring data. You bring your buyer personas. You make a logical case. When you do that, all that tension with sales can actually become a real partnership.
So I want you to look at your own roadmap right now. Are you managing a strategic investment portfolio that's designed for long-term growth? Or are you just taking orders at a drive-through window? Because let's be real, if you're just taking orders, you don't need a product manager. You just need a good secretary.
All right, enough theory. Let's get tactical. I'm going to give you the exact playbook, a filter you can use to protect your roadmap, and you can start using it tomorrow morning.
It comes from product leader Andrew Stedman, and it's called the N=1 to N=many filter. It's a simple but ruthless set of 3 questions that you must ask before you ever say yes to a feature that comes from a single, loud customer.
Question number 1, market fit. It's a simple numbers game. Can this feature serve at least 20% of your target market? If the request is so niche that only a tiny sliver of your customers will ever even see it, it belongs in the trash can, not in your backlog. Question number 2 is the strategic gut check. Be totally honest with yourself here. Would you build this feature if this one demanding customer completely disappeared tomorrow? If the only reason it's even on the table is to make them happy, you're not building a product, you're building custom software, and you have to walk away.
And the final question is all about your go-to-market motion. Can this new feature be marketed and sold without a custom 20-minute-long explanation from your sales team? A truly scalable feature should fit right into your existing sales process, not break it.
And this brings us to the final and maybe the most important part. Because having a tool is one thing, but actually using it, that's about leadership. It's a test of your courage. So let's just recap the big takeaways. First, the N=1 trap is real, and it will slowly drain your resources and absolutely kill your ability to scale. Second, the only way out is to pivot your entire culture to an N=many mindset. And third, that 3-question filter we just talked about, that's your shield. It's your tactical weapon to stay focused.
Which leaves us with just one final thought. If the answer to any of those filter questions is no, you have to be ready to look your stakeholders right in the eye and reject the feature. So the real question isn't about the tool, it's about you. Do you have the grit to protect your product's future, or are you going to cave?